Well, I don't know what's going on there with that doorbell, but I'm not dealing with that. Tell you that. All right, this is cool. There's me. Can't believe it. We're through the looking glass here. All right. All right, well, hello everybody. How's it going? I'm Jack Devine, and I'm here to kind of hang out and see what's going on with anybody who's a subscriber to the channel knows what this is all about. This is part social and part educational, and to some extent, hopefully I can entertain you and also educate you. A little, I guess, what do you call it? Edutainment, or invocation. That's my vocation, I suppose. So, I was just see here. There's a couple of guys who have chimed in here on the chat already. Ryan and Matthew here talking about. Oh yeah, those are the songs I was playing. Yeah, I don't know why. I was just kind of drawn to that. I've been messing around with some delays and delay placement lately. Like, if you put a delay before overdrive, you get like crunchy delay, and if you put it after, you get a cleaner delay. Usually I do the after, but sometimes I run out of space on my unit here. Doesn't every man wish he had more space with his unit? So next thing you know, I ended up trying it with this for the Maker, and that's the spot there. I'm hearing a little bit. You can hear that first delay that comes back is a little crunchy. It's not. So the way to compensate for that is rolling off the low end and to tame the highs, so you don't hear the high end crunch. And also you can do some stuff to inside there in terms of, like, does it come in full on, like you can really fine tune the level. Sounds pretty good as long as I'm not digging in. And then at the end, if I'm going full-blown psychedelic, I got this fuzz thing going on. Which I think will get louder if I turn this off, which... No, it's just the same, so that's cool. Anyway, it's a little overwhelming, but it might be fun. Who knows where things are going to go. Anyway, that's a cool guitar. Is the custom. Honestly, this is just the way it came out of the case. This was it still is, I suppose, an Ibanez from 1978 or 79 called an ST300. They only made them like this for about a year, and I suppose the reason why they stopped making them is because the people who are used to working with lead and bricks said, where did all the lead and bricks go? And apparently it went into this fucking guitar. It weighs like 13 pounds. It is so heavy. Oh my God, it's disgusting. That said, it sounds pretty beefy, actually. So the story is that it's actually a set neck, even though it looks like a glue in. You can see there's the neck is actually glued in, kind of like a Les Paul, and it appears to largely be made out of maple, which I think, granted, there's multiple pieces of maple in the neck, so it's a 3-piece maple neck, so it's quite stiff, and so that plus all the maple gives a tremendous amount of fundamental, like, punch. Sorry, I'm on a kind of an ambient washy sound. But it still sounds really nice. Anyway, it's a nice instrument, and so an old student of mine. Well, I guess he still is a student. Um, it's the musician series, but it's actually the ST300. So the body shape, right? They made this for a little while, but then what they did is when they first came out, this guitar had a Fender scale length, and then they shortened it to Gibson scale length and started making it out of walnut and with 2 humbuckers. Well, granted, this guitar originally had 2 humbuckers, but somebody got a hold of it and jerified it. And then they also see how this has like a kind of a flat top with an arm bevel, right? They make another one that has more of a slowly curved top that doesn't have quite as profound a thing. This is made out of that Japanese ash that the Ibanez Destroyers that were on that Van Halen liked on the first album was made out of this, and then this is a maple core. So it's maple with walnut and some of this Japanese ash and some sort of rosewood is my guess. But really, I think the true secret weapon is this pickup. This pickup is the dual sound from whatever that would have been, like I think it's an 80s dual sound or something like that. And a dual sound is just a super distortion with the ability to do coil taps. That's all it is. So everybody, thinks that. So that's all it is. If I put it on the bridge pickup in full power, this is what you're going to hear. Middle pickup in half power, parallel setting. Kind of nice. And then if you go, you can turn it into a single coil. So that's kind of the weakest. Second, that's the middle path, and then the hottest. So I like the middle path. Sounds more like a single coil than a humbucker, but it doesn't have any hum, but it's not entirely a hum. It's not entirely like a single coil like my Strat, which has a vastly different sound and just generally is it's a different kind of guitar. It just has a different focal point in its sound. Like if from bass to treble, the Fender is happening up here. This is definitely a little thicker and meatier sounding. I don't know if it's the weight or the pickup or whatever, the materials. It just has a significant, and the whole thing has more headroom and beef to it. So it's definitely a nice sound. So I'm not sure what song to talk about for you guys tonight or with you guys, but I'm working on a lot of tunes these days lately. I've been working. Oh, well, what we can do is we can talk about getting. If I can get this to work, let's see if maybe the looper will work, and I'll share with you a couple of cool things here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I think I messed up the loop there. 1, 2, 3. Now, if the machine will allow me to loop. Yeah, let's talk about that. So there's this, let's see if this will allow me to loop. 1, 2, 3. Let's see about that. Okay, so we've got the ending of Ruben and Charisse. This is a really nice song off of Cats Down Under the Stars by Garcia. And so there's this little section where it goes, and this little line comes in. All right, so it looks like it's over an E major sound. And then all of a sudden this great little Lydian note comes in. So that's that. So if you harmonize it, you're going to get... It's so much fun to do this stuff. What do I use for an envelope filter? It's an old Mutron from, I think like 1977 or something like that. This is a real thing. So that's about the only, that and the pickup are kind of important, I think, you know, in terms of if you're after this kind of phony Jerry thing. There are some other ones. The Qtron's pretty good. You know, that's probably where I would go if I didn't have this. Anyway, the idea is if we're playing this into the third of this E chord, then we would do the same, just up one chord tone. So if we're seeing this as the line that we're playing, right, coming in from G into, right, we would then go just up one note in the thing, right? Yeah, vintage Mutron alert, yep. So that would sound like this. Come here, you. All right, so that should have overdubbed both of them. And then there's another line in there that's kind of interesting. That's that. Again, as a B triad and an F sharp triad, and then this great little Lydian note, right? There's that sharp 4 in the key of E major. Really key sound, right? Because we're playing B major, F sharp to E, right? So that's going 1, 5, 4. 1, 5, 4. Right. So now we've got one line doing this, and then we harmonized it. Right. It's easier for me to play it up the neck, but it would look like. Right. So we can do that here. So if you wanted to stay all in one position, you could do that, right? That kind of thing. Okay, so when we come up and do this, we would now come down one note. That's the third of our B, the fifth of our F sharp. So if we go, we should find the harmony for the second line. That one right there. So I have to go in. Let's see if I got it. So now we've got 4 guitars going on top, right? So we've got 2 harmonies. That's and then we've got the little, which is really fucking cool. And then if we snag that, the harmony would be, or, okay, so there we go. And then last but not least, there's two other lines, okay? It's going to be that little line, and then, which can be played very easily together. but it does sound better when you overdub them one at a time. Watch. Please play. Why aren't you playing? Super fun. Anyway, if you guys have never fucked around with creating harmonies and loops, it's super fun. And now the cool thing is when it's time for me to play the song with the band, when the jam comes in, I've got the melody and its harmony in three different melodies and their and a two-part harmony for each of those signature licks in all three in three different registers, right? And I can teach the piano player how to do that at the same time. So it just really gets groovy really fast. Anyway, nothing sounds like these old moves, in my opinion. All right. So anybody got any questions or anything they want to talk about, or songs that they're trying to play that they're having difficulty with? I must say, I'm very, very impressed with some of my students over at school. They've got great questions and really have a curious mind, and so we've got some nice things to talk. We always got a good thing going on there. What do we got there? What is that? Really fun stuff. Anyway. Anyway, these pickups really drive the vintage moo in a really good way, and you can get that cool. That kind of. How do we find out more about your school? You ask me questions right here if you want to. It's super fun. Basically, it's a subscription-based service that teaches Grateful Dead music largely. I mean, we've taught. There's a separate course for Garcia band stuff, and we're going to be doing a whole section on the Reckoning album and learning all of those tunes, and focusing on acoustic Grateful Dead music I guess in March. Up until now, what have we talked about? Gosh, we've done 14 songs at this point, so we've been covering a lot of stuff. Basically, every Monday, a lick of the week comes out. On Tuesday, the lick of the week's song is discussed, and then on Wednesday, there's 6 hours of classes that you can chime in for, and then on Thursday, there's a 2-hour review session. And then Friday, I take a powder. I get a day off, and it's been pretty great so far. There's 75 people over there. They're all like kind of deadhead guys, and they're all hanging out and studying. And we just talk. There's a discussion like it's a full like community. It's kind of nice, I got to say. So what songs have we done here? We did Scarlet Begonias, Fire on the Mountain, China Cat Rider. There's all sorts of proprietary tabs and stuff like that too that are available there in the library. And then we did Not Fade Away and Going Down the Road. And then we did And We Bid You Good Night. We did that little section. And then we did Eyes of the World, Althea. Basically we did take little polls from time to time. Figure out One More Saturday Night, Black Throated Wind, Bertha, Bird Song, and They Love Each Other, and Tennessee Jed. So lots of good songs. It's been really, really fun so far. I have no regrets with what's happening, and you can sign. It's on the school, like SKOOL kind of platform, and it's basically like Patreon for educators rather than, it has classes and a calendar and everything. It's all set up for what I'm doing right now, which is nice. And so with 75 students, they hand in their homework every week, and they get a review from me, and then we sit around and we talk. Sometimes there's 10 or 15 people on a Zoom call. Sometimes there's one person. Today, I basically had a private lesson with somebody. How long have you been? Oh, Scott, I know. Okay, now I know who you are. So lessons with me used to be, it was $100 an hour, $80 if you got a pack of 10 lessons. So most people would buy packs of 10. But if you want to study with me for the whole year over at the school, it's only $8.99, so it's less than 10 lessons used to be for the whole fucking year. And you get frankly, it's a lot. You get a lot more content. You get to be with me for 15 hours a week if you want. Yeah, Peggy-O. Let's talk about Peggy-O. I see Calman the Wild asking about that. Now, yeah, let's talk. Lazy River Road and So Many Roads. I don't know those two songs, to be honest. But we can talk about Peggy-O for sure. Let's do that. Let's make a little loop of Peggy-O. Let me get to my Peggy-O settings even. I believe I have some of those. It's been a while since, it's probably been 4 or 5 months since we played Peggy-O. It's a good song. My rhythm guitar player plays Peggy-O, or sings Peggy-O. I play it. He sings it. He's got a great voice. It's kind of up there. Where are we? Here we go. Peggy-O. Here we go. Make sure we're in tune here. Bear with me for a second, Cal, while I remember the tune and do all that. Like I said, it's been a little while since I did it. I think that's the form. And if you want to think about how to lean into it, you want to look for the melody, all right? And whenever possible, you want to learn how to bend into melody notes. This is the trick, Cal, is that if we're going, right, so let's say we're going, as we can take it from there. As we rode out from Venerio, right? We can take those notes and go, add a little approach tone there and a little, or, which is what I would normally do, is come up it's the A at the top of an A chord, so come in from the flat 3. But now instead of a 2 fret bend there, if you bend 1 fret behind from, this would be the wrong note, and bend into tune. Then that would be, okay, so we're going to be able to bend into things. So we would go, right? Just try to make it pretty. Ah. It's kind of an interesting melody. It's all over the place, but you do have to learn how to lean into it a little bit. So I would probably look at those, the chords you have to think about, right? As A to D, from D back to A. Right, that's A, D, A. Like those kind of little shapes are really helpful, okay? Once you start doing that, you know, then you'd have to, as we rode out. All right, there's our F sharp minor. Right, that's F sharp minor again. Right, so. find that to be a very easy song to get lost in. I don't mean like get lost, like I don't know where I am. I mean get lost, like get really deep into the melody and the music. It's a gorgeous old song. It's that's not like a song that somebody wrote that we know. That song's hundreds of years old. So that's just a glorious thing to play. And that kind of a song, or like a Rosalie McFall, those kind of folky songs, are really wonderful. So the basic things that I look for are moments to bend into notes, right? Or these little 1-fret slides. Like that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm coming up into the third of the A chord. And so constantly bending into those notes. It gives it a lot more playful and melodic kind of like intensity. Plus, whenever you're bending into a note, right? Let's just say we're bending into the third of that A. You now have the ability to apply a specific type of vibrato that nobody ever wants to talk to you about, and that's from bottom up to pitch vibrato. Most of the time we talk about hitting a note and then shaking it. That sounds good, but it starts on that pitch and goes forward, up in pitch. It goes sharp from the target pitch. If you're bending into the note, you can come from underneath it, and that sounds much more like the human voice. That's how the human voice sings. It comes up to the note that it's interested in and then vacillates, it modulates downward usually. It comes up and tags it over and over again. So beautiful. It's a much different sound. Anyway, this is too dreamy a sound to play blues with, but still it's kind of nice. All right, so that's how I typically approach. What do you call it? Peggio. Maybe down here. Bit of overdrive helps when you lean in. It sounds all thick and muscly. It's nice. It's good. Has a little bit more stuff. What do I have here? These are all like weird. These are all strange sounds. It's pretty good. All right, so sorry, Brian. Oh, Brian Rex Surfer. I'm sorry, I didn't have a real thing. So sounds great. Am I continuously changing what scales I'm playing with the chord change, or using a modal approach and targeting chord tones within the scale? That's a great question. Let's talk about that. There's an element of all of this that is portable and repeatable, regardless of what chord it is, right? So when we're looking at a tune like Peggio, right? We have the good fortune of having 1, 4, 4, 1, 1. Now we go in minor 6, right? And then to the 3 chord, 4 chord, back to 1. Minor 6, 1, 4, 4, to 1. So every single chord in that song is actually out of the A scale, right? So technically speaking, those are the only 7 notes you're going to need. However, it does come in handy if you're blowing over top of that. When you get to the D chord, you may or may not want to hear a D Lydian sound. And so if you don't want to hear a D Lydian sound, the secret to this, Brian, is that you use whichever root note of the chord you're on. If it's a major, you use its major pentatonic. And if you're on a minor chord, like that F sharp minor, you use its minor pentatonic and you're fine. All right? There's one addition that we get to make, and it's silly if you don't, and that's that you can add over the major chords, you can add the flat third going into every third. Like that, okay? So over top of the A chord you would play, and then once you get to the D, you could be D major pentatonic, and then back to there. All right? Then when it goes to here, right, you're going to be thinking F sharp minor pentatonic, and now into C sharp minor pentatonic, now back to D major pentatonic. Back to F sharp minor pentatonic, quick hit to A, then back to A, D, D, A. So I'm definitely thinking about both, like you said, chord tones, sure. So, and if I'm doing any kind of busy runs, like I'm just going to be thinking of the parent scale, meaning A major, okay? If I'm going to do a busy lick over top of a D chord, of course, then I would have to use, I would think I would do the D Lydian sound. All right, if I'm doing it over the either of the minor chords that are there, then you could use either their minor pentatonics, or right, and over the same way we can add the major third to the major chords, and utilizing each of the parallel roots and stemming the pentatonic sound off of that. So A major pentatonic over the A chord, D major pentatonic over that. Over the top of the F sharp minor, we can add the flat 5. And over top of the C sharp minor, we can, and you'll definitely hear that in when we actually are playing, So over the A chord, do 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 do, you saw me approach from the flat third. Then out of the D chord, I went. So I keep using that F to create tension on the way back to the root, kind of enclosing it, right? Okay, 1 fret back and then 1 fret up into the target note. And then coming. So you can see I'm using those approach tones into and out of the third a lot. That's over the A chord. Okay, and so that's going to be pretty much omnipresent. Then so that's over the F sharp minor chord. Yep. Very, very important to understand how this stuff works with those two kind of, they're the same note. It's because think about it, the A and the F sharp minor are relative major and minor for each other. So the major pentatonic with that extra little blue note, or comes in really handy, and it's that same note that we use here when we go and make it resolve to an F sharp. Okay, so we're definitely going to see that start to stack up and start to sound really. So Garcia is always adding that flat 5 to his minor chords and that flat 3 to his major chords, and they're parallel pentatonics that follow them around. If along the way you happen to stumble into a good modal choice, well then by all means go ahead, pick it up. But don't let perfection be the enemy of progress, right? Don't let perfection obviously you want to go after something, you go after it. But I mean, I don't let things stop me from being, I don't start to think while I play. I guess that's the best way to put it. So I try not to consciously do very much. I try to listen intently and try to make the sound I want to hear come out of my guitar. That's really what I'm doing. But that's kind of a metaphysical, like, oh, I carved to set the angel free, like that kind of thing. And there's an element of that obviously I'm proud of, having the ability to kind of hear what I play and play what I hear. And at the same time, sometimes it just doesn't work. And, then you have to start to engage your brain and look at stuff and make it happen for you, So, I mean, I would encourage anybody who's working with a band or on their own or has a teacher or somebody like that, have the people that you're playing with listen to you and give you honest feedback. Record yourself as much as you can. If you can film it, even better. You can see where it sounds bad. You can kind of understand, oh, that lick is sucking right there. Let's not do that lick. The main things, though, that hold people back is not all this theoretical stuff. The real problems for 99% of players is fundamentals. Things like being in time and being in tune. It's like, I'd say roughly 90% of the students, like the thing that they need most is time spent with the metronome and really spending, just trying to work on how to get something that really feel good, like it makes you want to dance. Really being in control of their lines and even just playing solid rhythm guitar. And most people don't spend any time working on their rhythm. All right? And so consequently their lines kind of fall apart. They don't really have that much pocket. So, that's a big problem. So that would be what I would focus on if I was younger. I did get told that. I think I was probably 8 years into playing. My favorite, one of my best friends, and one of the guys who I used to make the most music with, and I treasured his friendship because we got to sit around and play guitar together and fuck around, just laugh and. He spent a lot of time as a drummer. So he was into funk and blues and more groove-based music than I was. And when I would sit down, and we would occasionally go over to each other's houses, and we each had little portable studios and things like that. So we'd always be doing recordings and things like that. And he would always comment, we would have a great time. But one time I was kind of looking for an attaboy, and I said, "What do you think, man?" I was really excited about it. And he's like, "Well, you need to work on your timing, Jack." And I was like, "Fuck yeah!" I kind of got butthurt about the whole thing and was mad. He was right though. I really hadn't done the time. Super fun. I mean, that little the most recent edition of the real Mutron and this guitar has really kind of upped my game in terms of. I mean, I like the sound of the Strat. Don't get me wrong, but man, this thing does a certain thing that really does Jerryfy the sound in a different way. Pretty interesting. Whew. My goodness, I've been up since 5 o'clock working on the house here, and then I did a little, like I said, a little review. I thought I had more energy left in me, but I think I'm kind of fading fast. Does anybody have any questions they want to talk about? I thought that was a really great question, by the way. Are there any up-and-coming guitarists that I feel are legends in the making? I know the Shreve guy that you're talking about. He's the guy who plays with his fingers. Is that who? Is that who that is? Let's see who. I'm gonna do a quick little search here. Aaron Shreve. Aaron Shreve. I think he's the guy who I think of as playing kind of. Little like, no, let's go back. Guitar. It kind of has. It doesn't play slide, but he kind of sounds an awful lot like. I don't know. I can't seem to find him. I think I know who he is. Let's see if this is him. I think he's okay. He doesn't play with a pick, and ultimately that isn't my favorite sound. He's pretty good though. I've seen him do some things that I liked. Up and coming. I mean, everybody knows about everybody. I mean, the last up and coming guitar player I liked was 6 years ago or 7 years ago. I was interested in. I had seen what's his name, Matteo Mancuso. Yeah. So I think. Yeah, so this guy. That guy. So, yeah, he's good. He is good. He is very good. I like I said, I'm not particularly moved by his stuff. Yeah. He's good, but again, I think his like what nobody's written a song, he hasn't written a song yet, and just like again, like Matteo Mancuso, as great as he is, or Asado, or those guys, none of them have written a song. They've never done anything, and that's kind of the thing. It's like, well, all right, that's great, but rather than like showing me like a soulful rendition and with a bunch of like kind of the same kind of major pentatonic. It's kind of like Derek Trucks without the slide versions of like, a song that you recognize, whether it's "Isn't She Lovely" or some song like that. He's definitely a very talented guitar player. He just doesn't really move me. I like guys with a little bit more balls and a little bit more intensity, and he kind of strikes me as being a little soft. But. That's just my taste. There's nothing wrong there per se. I can't really say that. And I don't know how well he enjoys, like, does he jam well, or does he just kind of do his little thing? A lot of these guys, they don't really have like, they don't really have a lot of musicality. They're more like ready to do it. They craft like an Instagram post. I mean, shit, there's just a ton of great guitar players that, like, I'll tell you this. I'm a pretty good guitar player, and I know that I do everything I can to stack the deck in my favor when I make my short lessons. Like, I want them to be tits, right? But what really happens is when I'm sitting down here talking to you guys and I play, I fuck up all the time. Now, I don't know if any of these other guys are like that. I'm 55 years old. I've been playing guitar for 45 years. I have a lot of experience. I used to. I went and visited my grandfather, and he asked me if I wanted to get a bottle of wine to have dinner with. He's a recovering alcoholic. I asked him, "Sure, that's so good. You know, you've been on the wagon all these years. Do we really want to do that?" And he's like, "That's wine. That doesn't really count. And more importantly, I've spilt more alcohol than you'll ever drink." And so some of these guys, you know, like, I wonder how much they really know. You know, what do they really know, and how do they learn it? And do they really know it? Do they just have big ears? Did they, you know, what have they been doing? And so you don't know what's what. Having seen Matteo Mancuso perform, he is scary intense. So I do like that guy. And at first I heard him play. A friend of mine who's a great young player, a former student of mine named Jordan, he's like, "Hey, you should check this guy out." And I was like, And then I kept seeing him because he's like internet savvy, you know. And then next thing I knew, I saw him play something great. And I was like, okay, cool. You know, like, okay, Jordan wasn't totally tripping. I think I sent Jordan somebody that I thought was killer, and now I can't remember who it was. But the thing, me and my old students, we ended up becoming pretty good friends. The guy I sent is not an up-and-coming guy. He's a guy I've been aware of for a long time. He's a guy named Alan Hines. I think he's an exceptionally talented musician, but he's an old cat, you know. He's got great touch. So, you know, no. The answer is I don't really. I'm terrible at this. I don't really do. Oh, Jack Rush is awesome. Yeah. He's dope. He's like a great. First of all, he's really tasteful. He's not in a hurry to do it. Like, his playing doesn't seem like he's in a hurry to do anything. Very measured and calm. To be honest, I'd love to see him take more risks. I'd love to see him pushed. I'd love to see what he does, you know. But sure, I mean, he's an impeccably tasteful guitar player and a spectacular online educator too. I mean, yeah, totally. I mean, I've caught myself listening to him for just entertainment. So yeah, oh, that's Dave saying that. Yeah. So, and then here again, Julian Lage. Yeah, but he's not new. I mean, I've been checking Julian Lage probably for 10 years or 15 years. He was a prodigy when he was a teenager. You know, everybody knew about him. So again, that's the thing, is like, in this day and age, there's no hidden talents really anymore. You know, I mean, I remember I saw Billy Strings 12 years ago. I mean, that was kind of fun. I didn't think much actually at the time. He's obviously grown a lot as a player and really remarkable as a singer. I think it's like, oh wow, this guy's young and he reminds me a lot of if Doc Watson and Tony Rice had a baby, and I can't imagine he wouldn't fall over it with joy hearing him described that way by another player. You know, everybody out there is dynamite. It's so much easier for me to focus on like songs than players, though, and that's kind of what I've been focusing on lately, is trying to think about, like, how am I going to take the next step and understand some higher concepts that I haven't really always incorporated, like melodic minor and you know, other elements. I don't know what's going on. My camera seems to be dead here. Am I not making progress here? Oh, there I am, and I'm upside down. I live in a disadvantaged part of Brooklyn. I know it's hard to believe there are such places, but the internet here sucks nuts. Anyway, see, the camera already froze again, so I don't know what's going on. Yeah, this is okay, so I'm looking at to answer your questions. Is it heavy? Yes, this is made out of steel. It looks like wood, but it must be some sort of crazy alloy. There's bricks, lead dust in there. It is a precursor to the Musician series. The PRS is similar slope on the top. Yep, it does. Oh, you saw me playing Eyes of the World. Other people saying, what do I use for my envelope filter? Already went through the vintage Mutron. How do you find out more about school? We already talked about that. Okay, so we're back here. So still down here. Yep. So, Taz. Yeah, I agree. This the Taz guy, the guy from, he's like a kid who played blues with like a little hat on and stuff like that. SG. Yeah, I mean, everybody's got their own tastes, and the truth is, the last guitar player that really impressed me was Rick from Goose. To be honest, I mean, in person, I wasn't actually that impressed. I saw a shit ton of great footage before I went and saw him play, and then they played up at the Capitol, and I drove up there. I busted my ass to get up to see him with Jordan, my student, and we were in the right place, mentally, but he had just gotten back from being on the road with Trey and his solo band, and he had just changed his rig, and the rig was, I think it was getting away from him most of the night, to be honest. I thought he sounded better playing through the PRS, and I think he was playing through a Maverick for a while. It was like a nice 1x12 with a little extension cabinet, just a one amp rig, and that Maverick and the Boogie, that Boogie sounded good. And then he ended up getting a second head. Yeah, have time for a quick shakedown? Yeah, let's talk about Shakedown. Okay, Shakedown is a great tune, although I just went through talking about it the other day. All right, the real thing to remember about Shakedown is the F chord here is not going to be handled like this. It's not, even though it's an F major 7, you got to remember that it's functioning as a 4 chord in the key of C, so that would make it a Lydian sound. So it has a B natural, not a B flat in it. So when we come up to there, so let's say we're going. So that kind of sound. Right, it has that B rather than B natural, B flat. Okay, that's it. The most important note in the whole song to remember to hit is the B over the F chord. All right, so once we get into that F sound, right, we're going. E minor. Then chromatically down to D minor, and then back up to G. And then to C blues. Mixed with a little. And then maybe a little Mixolydian. And then back to D. All right, the chords, they're simple enough, right? G, C, F, C7 or C9, right? And then will, I can never tell. Right? I like it down here. Then we come into that F major 7. Maybe that's 'cause it's midnight and the dark of the moon beside. Maybe the dark is from your eyes. Maybe the dark is from your eyes. Down to D minor. to go up to a G. So I'm basically just kind of doing a very quick little skanky kind of C7 sound. Nothing shaking on Shakedown Street. Used to be the heart of town. Tell me this town ain't got no heart. Just gotta poke around. And then we're back up in there. Why am I not taking licks and all that stuff like that? I definitely do not want to clutter up the jam. The keyboard player and the bobby player can't keep their hands still during there, right? As far as solo ideas are concerned, right? Let's talk about that, right? If you're going to ask me about it, we'll definitely talk about it. All right. So let's get the loop together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, come on, please start and come on. Let's go, looper. F major 7 coming up. E minor. Back up to F. Okay, I'm out of time on my looper. So let's talk about getting a little overdrive maybe, and a little delay, and we'll add the wah-wah box. So if we're playing out of the key of C, because that's what this is, like there's no place where you're seeing E minor going down to a D minor and then to a G, and then an F and a C. So that puts the song in C major, right? So if we hear that, right? Right, we're basically going to be in the key of C, all right? But we got to think about it modally, right? So over top of the G, we're going to play G, Mixolydian, quick pump to the F, then C, and back to D. Or we can just kind of find the right notes and do things like so that part right there, you know, you can get away with kind of living in the you know, right, especially once we're here, this. So we've got to think about what's happening over the F chord. Right, you want that Lydian sound over top of that. All right, and then E minor, but I don't like to do it's technically a Phrygian sound. I don't really like the sound of that so much, though, to be perfectly honest. That isn't really where I'm at. So where I'm up to, okay? So I tend to avoid on the E, I tend to avoid playing modally. Over the F, I'm definitely playing modally. I'm thinking, So that's a nice little figure for how to get up the Lydian scale quickly. You start with your middle finger and go down, down, up, slide. All right, we're coming from that B natural. Don't forget, we're not playing the B flat. Same little move on the G string. All right, there's some little pull-offs in there that... Right, I'm pulling off all those notes. That's kind of a nice sound, okay? So if we do... And by the time you get to the C, you should just be like thinking about blues, basically. Okay, so you just do need to learn how to kind of navigate those changes kind of quickly. There's that one little move that you're going to need to get where you're going. So that's like an E minor lick. Then you take it down a fret and here. And that could be done. Or, right, you want to just learn that little figure. It's a nice little da, 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 right? And I took it the whole way down that time. I went up into the G chord, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so that was G. Then F, C, back up into the D chord. Basically just getting down, on that C chord as best you can. So a little blues. So Garcia likes those little moves there over top of the C chord, getting that kind of a super fun. Very fun, all right? The Mutron kind of, well, it mutes a little bit. So, again, so that was G. To the third, or the root of the F. So there was the G, right? F, ba, ba, wah, boom, boom. Back to D. up the, what the hell was that? Oh, sure. So it's like a D Dorian sound. Very handy. Except I'm going to add the flat 5 here. And you can really build up some nice sounds over the top of that. So. Okay, so over top of that. Okay, sorry, the loop runs out of steam, but you know that C is a real opportunity to blow. All right, so you got just right. All right, so that would be pretty much all I can think of for solo ideas for Shakedown. It's really kind of nice. There's a big delay. I'm looking at what I was playing here, and this is me like 3 minutes ago, 4 minutes ago. Jesus, I wonder what's going on. Whatever. Like I said, that's the challenges of being here. It says I've been online for an hour and 19 minutes, so I think it's probably time for me to... But man, it's easy to spend a lot of time with that Mootron, I gotta tell you. It's like, it really does make things go smooth. It's a really nice sound compared to what I used to use, which was this. That's pretty good, but it's not the same as... Anybody that's interested in that kind of stuff, obviously that's what school's all about, is just sitting around all day, and we're covering lots of fun Grateful Dead tunes. It's like, I couldn't be happier with the curriculum over there. It's a lot of work, though. It's not for everybody, for sure. I found that most of the people that I talk to, they say they want to learn, but then when they're really exposed to the opportunity, they puss out a little bit. I'm not talking, not my students necessarily, but a lot of people that you meet that they say, oh yeah, I'd love to learn how to play the guitar, and then you tell them how hard they're gonna have to work. It's tough. Brian says, thanks for taking the time to share my knowledge and skills. Always loved seeing Office Hours Alert. Oh, that's great, man. Thank you so much. No, I mean, look, I know that private lessons and subscription-based things aren't for everybody, and that's kind of why. It definitely helps my business to do this. At the same time, everything's just fine, so it's... The truth is that I think I did a good enough job that nobody came to the review session this week. And I think the holidays. Plus, we did a pretty simple song. We were doing Tennessee Jed, which basically doesn't have much to it other than a couple of parts. And you don't have to worry about changing modalities during the solo. It's all major pentatonic flat 3 stuff. It's all that. Sorry, what does this say here? It says they can't put in the work. Some people can't. Some people can, for sure. Thanks for taking the time here. They can't put in the work. Well, some can. It is a lot, and the truth is, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So I don't count anybody out yet. They might not have the free time. They might not. I mean, I was lucky. I came from a very comfortable household. My parents, there was homework, but they weren't really all over me. So I had a lot of free time, get high and play guitar for like 10 hours a day. If I wanted to, it wasn't a big deal. It says here, sorry, a bit new to the office hours. Do I go by schedule? No, I don't. No, the truth is that was kind of the whole point of the, of getting the school together is because, I had probably about 35 to 40 students a week. And, then, some weeks, I would, so I'd be reserving 35 hours worth of my time. And then the day of, I'd get like cancel. Okay. And then I had to stay. I couldn't go anywhere because I had another lesson coming that had confirmed. So all of a sudden it's like, okay, so rather than working 4 or 5 hours a day, some days I'd only be working 2 hours a day, but one in the morning and one in the afternoon. And all of a sudden, like, the energy and the flow just kind of got a little shitty. And, I had taught enough people that I just thought, what, if I put this thing out there and just have it be that I'm teaching and this is what I'm teaching, and if you want to come on board and get involved, like for the price of, what is it? It's 1 10-pack you're going to get to be a student for the whole year. So that's, like I said, I'm online 15 hours a week. It all gets recorded. It all gets, dealt with and explained in aching detail. It's a lot of information. So nobody's leaving there with any question marks. They might not be able to get to it all because there's a lot discussed, but nobody's walking away without like a good understanding of the work that we're talking about, and a lot of personal time for sure. Like if they want it, I'm there. At least now. The truth is, if 500 people were members, I don't think I'd be able to do what I do for each of the students now. But now with only 75, that's pretty good. That said, it's rolling admission, so anybody can go at any time and jump on board. It's not like they'd be missing out on anything. They'd still get access to everything, and it's a lot. It's a lot. And like I said, the interesting thing about the Garcia method is that it's largely the same from song to song. So it's not like he has obviously, depending on, like if we're talking about the ideas that he uses on El Paso versus the ideas that he uses on Bertha or the other one, there's going to be some differences. But but if you kind of turn the songs into like types, it's pretty simple to do that. Any gigs on the horizon for Knock 'em Dead? Yes, I'm playing on January 27th down at the Bitter End with my boys. Love those guys. And in fact, the good news is I'm actually setting up another quintet because Knock 'em Dead, the drummer, he's been living in Block Island for a little while. He and his, whatever, life has dealt him a tough hand to play for a little bit, and so he had to move back to Rhode Island for a little bit, and consequently we've stopped gigging as much as I would like to. And I love those cats. I want to make music with them till the day I die, but not at the rate of 4 gigs a year. So I think it'd be nice if I was playing a little bit more. So I'm gonna team up with some other guys. I found another team to work with in the interim, or at the same time, rather, in parallel. And no judgments. It's not because of anything qualitatively or personally. I absolutely, I would literally take a bullet for some of those cats. They're so cool. I love them all. But Knock 'em Dead's playing on the 27th of January at the Bitter End. So that's $10, I think, at the old storied Bitter End. And can I write off all of those cool guitars as business expenses? Well, let's see. I've bought this guitar. I bought the black ES 170 4.5 or 0.75. This one here that I jokingly call the ES 170 4.5. This guitar is really nice, but that was cheap. If I'm going to do it, I should do it for. I should. I bought an Olympic white big headstock Strat knockoff, like relic kind of thing, that I plan on tricking out a little bit too. So maybe, yeah. I mean, the answer is yes. But it's mainly like the computer setup and the lights and all that. It's not about like scamming the tax man. I'll tell you that. There's plenty of legitimate business expenses that go into doing what I do. But the truth is, I got nothing else. This is the thing. This is what I know. This is what I love. This is what I think about. Like, I think about these songs on my own. I'm a big fan of this style of music and a big proponent of how to play the guitar, being informed by it over the years. It's definitely helped me be able to sit in with real players because you're playing over tunes that have real changes. Yeah, some of them are like, sorry, too much overdrive there. Yeah, okay, fine. That's not exactly the most ambitious song in terms of its compositional stuff, but try playing Crazy Fingers. Crazy Fingers is kick your ass. It's a tough song. So if you can do that, then you could probably tackle some light jazz or deal or something like that. Those are real tunes. That's like, to me, all right, fine. Maybe it's not, but I mean, there's also plenty of examples of Garcia playing real jazz songs, like with David Grisman and stuff like that, which, those are really interesting records too. And so, I mean, oddly enough, there's that, Tony Rice is a hero of mine, and there's an album with Tony Rice, Grisman, and Garcia playing the pizza tapes, right? I think Garcia stands tall over Tony Rice, even though, like, while Tony's doing all this flashy shit, then Garcia just comes in and lays you bare with a melody, and it gives a schmo like me hope. Like, I'm like, oh, well, I don't have to be Tony Rice. What I have to be is on point with my tone and be hitting the right note at the right time. It doesn't, all that other shit, all that fancy pants stuff, it's not as effective as just playing the melody sometimes. Like, really singing through your instrument, it's the best thing. So when I listen to how, like, Jerry plays Lewis Collins, and then Tony Rice comes in and does, like, kind of these, like, stock licks and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, that's flashy, but it doesn't really move me the same way as when I hear Garcia, like, digging deep and singing through his instrument. And I mean, he has no business sitting next to Tony Rice from a bluegrass perspective, and at the same time, I'd rather listen to
him play and sing songs all night long. That would just be so wonderful. Although I do love Tony Rice. I mean, Jesus, he was so amazing. But when I saw the two of them next to one another, I was like, oh, now maybe they're doing Jerry's thing, so it's like not quite fair. But and don't get me wrong, I keep saying it. I absolutely adore Tony Rice, but I was impressed with how well Jerry played, and didn't feel compelled to try to outplay. You can't outplay Tony Rice. You can only melody him, right? And he did it, And so that's a great strategy. And also, I mean, he's such a great. Both those guys are great singers too, or at least, well, Tony lost his voice, but Tony was a great singer and managed to live a lot longer than Jerry. All right, so I really here's other people talking here. What do we got? Opinions on Danocaster. Do I like Danocaster guitars? I've only played 3. They were all really good, like parts casters. Oddly enough, I know this is gonna sound strange, even though Fender guitars aren't made by the same people that made Fender guitars in the 50s or the 60s or the 70s. And so one could just as easily argue that they're no more Fenders than anything else. They still play really. They're different. If you want a Strat, get a fucking Strat. And also, it was one thing, like when Dan's guitars were $1,500 to $2,200. That's one thing, but they're $4,500 now. That's fucking ridiculous. So, like, if to be perfectly honest, if you want to buy a guitar, just buy a guitar and treat it like shit. It'll relic up pretty quickly, the body, and get a great fret job on your guitar. That's what you should be like. You can get a crappy telly and have it refretted and have a great telly. It's all in the fretwork. Like, I'd say, if you like the feel of the neck, this guitar. This guitar was $1,200 all in. All right, I got it for $900. Put three. Actually, no, it's $1,500 all in. I bought $300 for the pickups and $300 for the fretwork. 20 years ago, whatever. And that was it. And I haven't done it. I haven't done a fucking damn thing to it, other than the occasional like fret sprout like kind of thing, or something like that. Beautiful. By the way, it had none of this wear on it when I got it. Like, and I didn't ride this guitar hard. It actually, the paint work was done poorly at the factory, and it peeled off on its own. And then I wore away what had peeled away. I don't baby them, especially once they get all worked over. But I'm not rough on guitars. I don't do anything weird to them. I don't, a grueling 9-hour sweaty gig and then I don't clean it off. No, of course, I like to take care of my instruments. So if I were you, Danocaster seems like they're great guitars, but they're not for me. I don't really want a Danocaster because I already have a Relic Strat, and I know that if I buy a guitar that's finished in nitro with jumbo frets, I'm going to be pretty good once I get my pickups of choice in there. That said, if you stumble upon a Danocaster that plays like the devil is chasing it, buy it. Like, that's great. Like, a great guitar is a great guitar. I don't give a shit who makes it. But in general, I don't buy $4,500 parts guitars. I mean, he treats those guitars very well, and every one of them I've played has been very nice, but no nicer than my parts caster with a nice fret job. If you're about the relicking and the aging, okay, that maybe that's where it's at. I think it's just a matter of his guitars on the used market started. The wait was so long for them that the used market became inflated past the retail price, right? So all of a sudden the retail price went up to justify what was happening in the used market. The class is worth every penny, plenty of content. Everybody needs to join up. Oh, this is Will. He's a student over at school. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't read who. I thought I saw Willie Arrell, but it's Will Jarrell. Yeah, sorry, I don't have my glasses on. By the way, folks, I'm blind as a bat and going bald. So I'm getting old. These old gray whiskers tell some stories for sure. All right, so I don't know if anybody has any other questions, but guys, I'm happy to spend some time here online because it's more fun than going upstairs and dealing with what I know I have to do, which is in the morning I have to go and drive down to Delaware and deal with a rental property and wait for some idiot with a refrigerator to come walking through the door and scuff up the paint, and then I'll have to fix up the paint and all that stuff. Yes, occasionally I deign to perform blue collar work, but usually it's sitting down here and pontificating while drinking a Peroni and doing my. This is the Brooklyn equivalent of the Rolling Rock and what's his face, super awesome guitar player. Oh God, Uncle Larry. So. If nobody's got any further questions, I'm ready to bounce. Anyway, everybody, peace, love, and guitar, and Happy New Year and Merry Christmas and all that stuff. I don't know whether or not I'll be making another video, but opinion on 70s Gibson ES335s. I'm sure that there are some good ones, right? Like, you mean like a Norlin, Norlin era? Mine are both orange label, so that was kind of. I was told back when I was looking to buy those types of guitars, don't buy a Norlin guitar. They have all the liabilities of and they're less consistent. Okay, but the truth is, I buy guitars after I play them, so. If I found a Norlin era guitar that smoked, fuck yeah, definitely buy it. Even better if it has like an issue or two about it that makes it affordable to get into. So, or if it's clean, with no stories, it's just for me. I have a really hard time buying guitars that are only collectible and don't have great fretwork on them. And Gibsons, because they have those nibs on the little white piece of plastic on the edge of each fret, right? If you yank at the frets, you lose the nibs. So if you're playing like on the 70s Fretless Wonder, Les Paul or something like that, that's a non-starter for me unless it's been boogered. Like, fine. If somebody finds a Les Paul Deluxe and they hog out the mini humbuckers and put in full-size humbuckers, and it had big jumbo frets on it and shit like that, I'd be stoked because it'd be cheaper than a collectible one, and I could get into maybe like a cool old gold top kind of guitar. I'd love that. So 70s Gibson 335s, on the other hand, I've had both my guitars are from 1966. One of them has been boogered in a way that most people would find delectable. It's been turned into a Clapton style guitar. They put a stop tailpiece on it instead of the trapeze. But the other one has the trapeze, sounds better, oddly enough, to me, right? And has been shallered. So it has the Klusons got yanked out. Somebody put in shallers. I took the shallers out and put Klusons back in because I like the way the guitar looks with the Klusons more. And it's not like shallers didn't leave visible holes too. It's not like they covered up the old holes when they made with the new design. Like, that would be fine. And then I would just find shallers that looked old and cool and vintage. So you're going to have holes either way. You might as well have the guitar look the way it's supposed to look. Because if you're not touched by the aesthetics of an instrument, I don't know. It's kind of like a lady, You don't know what she's like but she looks good. So you check that out first. You walk across the room, and if she's awful, then you know what to do. It's like maybe we can fool around, but I can't be with you forever. Well, that's the same thing. Some of these guitars, like I've had that guitar actually longer than I've been married. Longer than I've been married, yeah. So that's more than that's 26 years I've had that guitar. I mean, it's wonderful, wonderful friend. That Tobacco 335, that Sunburst one, the one in the Althea video. I love that guitar. I mean, wow. And then the red one I got 6 months later. So both of those guitars, super, super, super special instruments. And when I bought them, one of them I got for $1,800. The other one I got for $3,500 because it had already been refretted and dialed out, and it was super clean, right, except for the shallers. So now those guitars are like $12,000 and $8,000, and it's like fucking ridiculous if you ask me. So the only reasonable thing you can do is get into a butchered 66, or you can buy probably a clean Norland era one for what I was getting. So everybody's always getting hammered, and I don't know. I've never played a '70s one that blew me away. Oh my god, pardon me. I do like the ones that came out in I think it's like 86, 87. Those are pretty good 335s actually. And the most recent Murphy Lab one that I played a like a light relic 61 neck cherry 335 with like looked like the Clapton guitar, right? So beautiful dark cherry, 2 humbuckers, stop tailpiece. The 64 neck, in my opinion, is too big on the newer Gibsons. But I have little hands. I don't have big hands. I mean, I have long fingers and I'm very flexible. I'm like very, I can reach. I have that kind of thing going on. I'm Captain Stretchy, but I don't have big hands, And so when I play guitars with fat, it's a 75. Yeah. So like my general take is, approach with caution. If it's a great guitar, then take it down. It depends on how much they want for it. Everybody seems to think that they like, oh yeah, I've got this fucked up guitar and it's $10,000. It's really oh wow. Somebody here has one of those guitars with a 69 gold top with it's Will. With full-size humbuckers. So it came with P90s though, right, Will? That didn't come with the it wasn't factory issued with the HBs, I don't think. Anyway, love guitars with lots of wear and stories and stuff like that, but they're supposed to be reasonable, So people just want to charge way too much money for stuff now. So what can you do? All right. My camera keeps fucking up here. I don't understand what's happening, but I don't see any other questions here. But thank you for the question, 76 LPC 99. I mean, I do like both the guitars you mentioned. It's just it would have to be. It's down to the guitar, right? I mean, I would have never thought this guitar would supplant and replace my main gigging guitar, and I don't like the fact that it's so heavy, but it sounds so good through my I had to retool my rig a little bit because it has a little bit more output, but it's really good. It's a very nice sound. Okay, I'm gonna say, here we go. I'm seeing more. I want to jet, but I don't want to leave anybody hanging. 5,500 for 75 all original. That sounds reasonable. I mean, to me, but then again, I have a hard time thinking that my guitar costs more than it cost when I bought it 20 years ago, right? Like I look at it and I think, that's a $3,200 guitar with some fretwork, or that I can't remember. I think I paid $3,300 or something, like. I just in my mind I remember 3,500 and 1,800. Those are the two numbers I remember. So I think of those guitars as like the thought of, but then again, I wouldn't take $5,000 for my guitar, right? So it's like, but I'm comfortable. Like I don't want to sell my guitar unless I know I'm getting a guitar that's much better than it. And I wouldn't sell my 335 and like not have a 335. So I would have to find a 335 that smokes my 335 and then sell or trade my 2 335s and then buy them and have all 3 of them at once basically, and then sell. And that's just a lot of shucking and jiving for a dude that's got everything. I've got everything I need and more. I've got more than I want, and which is that's a kind of a gross position to be in because I look in my closet. I'm like, God, I haven't played that guitar in like 2 years or 3 years. You know, like, what do I own a $5,000 PRS for? I mean, it's not that I don't deserve it. I just don't use it. It's like, it's a nice guitar. It's great. It's so good. For most people, it would be like their number one guitar. And for me, I'm like, okay. It's kind of like the pickups kind of compress a little bit too much. And the knobs, I wish it had a 4 knobs on it instead of 2 knobs on it. The feel of the neck is perfect, though. It's like, that's the main reason why it's still here. It has probably the best neck in the house. It's so good. Okay. Then again, it looks, you grab it and you're like, okay, somebody's going to make nobody throws any shade at a guy that shows up with a banged up old Strat and can play, right? They're like, all right, any idiot shows up with like the, what do they call it? Virtue stealing or something like that. Like, but I put every mile on that guitar, I mean, every single mark. That thing looked pretty good when it came here. Anyway, I literally played the paint off the neck. And, I mean, the paint faded from sitting in my lap there. Like that was black when it came to me. So I don't know where all that paint went, but I mean, I do. I'd see it it comes off in chips underneath me when I play. If I show up with that around my neck, that's different than if I show up with like a PRS around my neck. But once I play, people, like, well, you can play, you have every right to have that. But, at first, mid 50s white guy shows up with like a fancy, looks like, an old luthier I know, he's like, oh yeah, it looks like Liberace's nightstand, all that curly wood with the abalone everywhere and exotic woods and shit like that. And, the guitar actually plays great, sounds great. I just don't really bust it out too often, I've got more money than talent. Well, that's not such a bad problem, Somebody says that. Karma Dave here. Yeah, that's fine when you think about it. Like having good tools inspires you to pick up the guitar and enjoy it. And there's nothing wrong with having good stuff. Just don't fool yourself into thinking that because you have stuff, you're as good as the people that like that are your heroes. Just because you buy the same guitar as Jerry Garcia doesn't make you play like him. For sure. All right. Speaking of which, I'm going to ditch this bad boy, save the battery, and I'm going to bid you all a fond farewell. And oh my goodness, it's so heavy. I'm old. Help me. All right. I love you all. Take care. I'll try to do tomorrow. Like I said, I'm driving down to Delaware, but I'm going to try to do more of this because I'm taking the next couple of weeks off from school. Because it's holidays and stuff like that. So just going to give myself and everybody a break, a little time to catch up, and so maybe I'll do some more live streaming and stuff like that. Okay. Take care. All right. It's really nice to see you. Well, it's nice to have a little back and forth with everybody. And next time I'll try to have a little bit more of an agenda, but I just thought I would do this. All right. Take care. There's that thing. Oh, it's that.